Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at checkpoint 2 today, the Shang Dynasty. Again, this is our Journaling Ancient China project. Go ahead and click on checkpoint 2, and it'll open up this document right here. Now, the first two items, the anticipation guide and the summarizing challenge, don't worry about those right now. I mentioned we were going to be doing some activities in class next time, so that's what those are. So don't worry about those right now. We will talk about those later. This checkpoint is pretty similar to checkpoint 1. There is a little bit of research to do, followed by a journal entry. Let's take a look at the research notes first. As before, items in yellow are required. Anything in green is optional. That's how you'll get the scores of 3 or 4. At this point in the year, I would encourage all of you to at least attempt the green optional items. At least try it out, see what you can do with it, because then you have a chance of, again, improving your score. For your research, I've given you a whole list of resources here. I think the textbook is a great place to start. Down here in 6 and 7, these are going to be a little more detailed, a little more in depth. So if you're feeling pretty comfortable with the topic, those might be good to check out. The research for this is pretty open. We're going to be finding some facts about different parts of the Shang Dynasty. There are 4 categories: government, religion, their cities or their homes or buildings, and then their arts or inventions. You're going to be finding 2 facts about each of those categories. So 2 facts about government, 2 about religion, and so on. In this first column, you're going to put your first fact about each of those categories, and then your second fact here, and then you'll tell me which source you got your information from. So any of these sources, again, are fine, or if you have found one on your own. Keep in mind, these facts need to be written in your own words. This is not a place to copy and paste. You want to rephrase in your own words. If you go back to checkpoint 1, the guide, I gave you some advice on how to do that. The optional part down here, we are making a subclaim about the Shang Dynasty, kind of beyond our general research from above. We want to know, does the Shang Dynasty have more similarities or maybe more differences with one of the other civilizations that we've studied this year? So this would be an opportunity to think back. We've studied Mesopotamia, Egypt, India. Are you seeing more similarities? Are you seeing more differences? And if so, what are they? So the first step would be to pick a civilization we've studied, again, Egypt, Mesopotamia, India, and then the second part is, well, are there more similarities or do you see more differences? So in this box right here, you're going to tell me what your subclaim is. Make sure you say which civilization you're comparing it to, and then whether it's more similar or more different. So right here, I've given you an example of a possible subclaim you might make. The Shang Dynasty had many things in common with ancient Egyptian civilization. So I've compared it to Egypt, and I'm saying they have things that are in common. So it's up to you which civilization you compare and whether it's more differences or more similarities, but you'd want to state that in this box. And then you want to go back to those sources and provide some evidence. So we want 2 pieces of evidence to support your subclaim. So, you'd want to say maybe what those similarities are or what those differences are. Again, this would be in your own words, and then you want to state the source that you got it from. The second part of this checkpoint is the journal entry. This is, again, very similar. It's kind of part 2 of our journal entry series. Your scenario up here, you are time traveling and your adventures are continuing. You realize you have been transported to the Shang Dynasty, the earliest of the Chinese dynasties. Describe your time during this dynasty, including what you discover about their government, religion, homes or cities, and their art or inventions. You may even start to compare this group of people with other ancient civilizations you have encountered before. So you're basically, again, taking your research up here, and if you made any subclaims, and putting it into your journal entry, adding some details, adding a story element to it, with the time travel piece as well. So again, this is a continuation of checkpoint 1, so you might want to refer back to something you wrote in checkpoint 1 or continue the character or the story that you've developed. Right here is where you would put your journal entry, right there. So again, if you're having some trouble thinking of some ideas, we can always discuss this in class, but if you can at least get your research done and start thinking about your journal entry, that would be a great place to end class today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or to leave a comment on this document, and I will try to get back to you as quickly as I can. And I look forward to seeing you next class period.